The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus and his disciples left from there and began a journey through Galilee, but he did not wish anyone to know about it. He was teaching his disciples and telling them, "The Son of Man is to be handed over to men, and they will kill him. And 3 days after his death, the Son of Man will rise." But they did not understand the saying, and they were afraid to question him. They came to Capernaum, and once inside the house, he began to ask them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they remained silent. They had been discussing among themselves on the way who was the greatest. Then he sat down, called the 12, and said to them, "If anyone wishes to be first, he shall be the last of all and the servant of all." Taking a child, he placed it in their midst, and putting his arms around it, he said to them, "Whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This morning, I would like to talk about the painting that you might have heard on the different newscasts this past week that hung over the door here, going out towards Mount Joy Avenue. It's a painting that now we know, we've known for about a year, that the rather famous painter Cesare Dandini from Florence painted. We had thought it was Amalfredo, one of his disciples. But in the February of last year, an art professor, Tom Ruggio from Iona, came to our church to make a visit to the Blessed Sacrament. And while he was praying, he looked up, and the light was on the painting, and he specializes in this type of art. And he said he thought it was a Dandini. He came into the rectory to tell me. He did some research work on it with the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and they have confirmed that it is a Cesare Dandini painting that was entitled The Holy Family. If you remember the painting, we'll have it back. It was Jesus, Mary, and the child Jesus, and then another slightly bigger child next to him, and that was the infant John. And it was the only time Cesare Dandini painted the Holy Family with the infant baby John. He has done many, many Holy Families. He's done many portraits of the Madonna, many portraits of St. Joseph and Mary and Jesus, but this is the only one that the Met believes that he did with St. John in it. Cesare Dandini lived at the very end of the 16th century and died in 1655, so it goes back a long way. And the history of the painting, the Metropolitan Museum of Art hasn't really been able to tell us where it went. We know the Medici family, Cesare Dandini was a patron of. The Medici family is a very famous family in Florence, a very wealthy family. And they would be patrons of the art and put art in many of their palaces. But somehow this painting found its way to Rome in a gallery where Monsignor Fitzgerald, many of you I'm sure remember him, a wonderful pastor here, discovered it. And it was around 1960 or 61 that he discovered it in an art gallery there, just thinking that it was a good painting. He purchased it to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the parish. And he purchased both of these paintings over both doors and had no idea that this was an original at that time. In fact, when one of the priests in the parish, Monsignor Haggerty, celebrated his 25th anniversary, he put that painting on his 25th anniversary invitation with another painter as the painter, another man, Mercado. So that's what happened. For the last year, we've been deciding, what to do with it. The painting had been restored in 1998, and the person doing the restoration in New Rochelle thought it was an excellent painting, but did not think it was a Dandini. Monsignor Berardi mentioned that name to me when I arrived here as the pastor that he thought it was a Dandini or a copy of a Dandini. Nobody thought it was the real one. So we have the painting. It seems to be authenticated. Everybody's asking, what's it worth? Well, it's worth more than what we thought it was worth. The last Dandini painting sold for about $700,000. So it's worth a substantial amount of money, but not a game-changing amount of money. So, but something that we'll have to think of how to put it back into the church, how we will protect it, how will we allow it to be displayed. And those decisions have not been made. I'll talk with the parish council. We'll try to figure out what is the best thing to do. We have 3 months. The painting is on loan in the Ryan Library. If anyone wishes to go over to the Ryan Library at Iona College, you're most welcome to see. They have a whole exhibit there explaining the painting, and it's on loan to December 18th, and we'll have it back here in our parish for the Feast of the Holy Family, which this year is on December 26th. So we'll have it hung back up, hopefully, if everything goes well. It's interesting, I was surprised at the tremendous amount of news coverage that it received, but I think it's a nice story, a good story. We've had a lot of depressing stories over the last months, and it's something good, like something that was lost. Very little history of what transpired over those years, where it was, until Monsignor Fitzgerald purchased it in 1960, and then it was hanging here for these 60 years. But what was lost is found, and it's something nice, something to be glad about, that a painting has been restored to its proper place. We will continue to take care of it and protect it. I'll ask the archdiocesan officials what they think we should do with it as well, and we'll decide to hopefully restore it here if the painting can be protected and be safe here. I think that's the most important element in considerations going forward. So one newscaster said, what message do you think you have learned from all of this in a spiritual way? And I thought about just the Holy Family, how important that is in this day and age for all of us to support families, to enable them to reflect and radiate the wonderful presence of Jesus in their lives, to make them special. And then John the Baptist, he was the one that prepared the way of the Lord. That's what we ought to be doing every day of our life, prepare the way of the Lord, the message of Advent. So I just want to speak to you about the painting. Cesare Dandini is the author of the painting. And as time passes and as we receive more information, I will put it in the bulletin to inform everybody about what's taking place. So have a good Sunday and God bless.